November 17th of 2025, we have a grand water trine happening that can bring healing and transformation, but also trigger some feelings of shame or helplessness. So in today's video, I want to tell you everything you need to know about this transit in a simple, practical way. Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Isabel, your spiritual rebel friend, and today we're talking about the grand water trine that is happening on November 17th of 2025 that we can feel more and more in the days leading up to and in the days that follow. And a grand water trine is an extremely positive, powerful, lucky, and impactful transit. So understanding what exactly is going on with this transit is essential to manifesting more success, love, and fulfillment from this transit. So in today's video specifically, I'm going to cover the planets that are involved in this grand water trine and what a grand water trine is. So if you know nothing about astrology, this video is for you. The key themes that are coming up with this transit in particular, and practical ways to align to this transit to your benefit. And at the end of the video, if you like this video, I'm going to talk more about my offerings that I have available if you like my interpretation style and found this video helpful. But without further ado, let's get into what this grand water trine is, starting off with what a grand water trine is, simply put, if you don't know what that terminology means, and the planets that are involved in making this grand water trine happen. A grand water trine is a positive and lucky aspect. The number one word associated with any form of trine is luck. And so these are positive, energetic alignments of the stars that bring in long-awaited reward, benefit, or even expansion. A grand water trine is, as far as visually, looks like a triangle in the stars where we have all three of one element activated. So in each zodiac sign fits one of the four elements, and within those four elements, we have three signs. So a grand water trine is when we have all three of our water signs activated in a positive, harmonious alignment. This brings this energy of having all three of your best friends together. If you ever have had long distance friendships or have had friends who move away, imagine you guys all finally get together. That is the energy that a grand water trine brings, or any grand trine, where we have all three of one element coming together in a positive, uplifting fashion. So this grand water trine, of course, is involving the three water signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. But we have specific planets involved that are shaping how this grand water trine is impacting us and what it's inviting us to do. So the planets involved and points involved in this grand water trine are as follows. The Sun and Black Moon Lilith, which are conjunct in the sign of Scorpio. We have Neptune and Pisces in the sign, or Neptune and Saturn words in the sign of Pisces, both retrograde. And we have Jupiter, which is retrograde, in the sign of Cancer. So you're going to see over the screen a quick summary of what this kind of means, but I want to go in more in depth into what each of these planets and points is bringing to this grand water trine in more relevant context, talking about the key theme they're bringing up and why that key theme is present. First off, this grand water trine could be bringing us to face our fears of rejection or being too much. Why is that specifically? Because we have Black Moon Lilith conjunct the Sun in Scorpio. Black Moon Lilith is a planetary or astrological point that tells us what we fear being rejected for, and yet at the same time is our place of power. So with Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio involved in this grand water trine, we can feel like things are happening that trigger our fear of being too much. In the positive, Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio reminds us we all have an ability to bring depth, intimacy, vulnerability, and meaning to those we connect with, the conversations we have, and the work that we do. We can bring depth to life. But with Black Moon Lilith also being here, we may feel like that desire and that ability is too much for the world. We may feel like we are going to be rejected for it. It's basically, simply put, our feeling of being too much. And with the Sun being here as well, we're being called to focus on this, to heal this and renew this, because it is a place of power. So whatever happens during this grand water trine, it could bring you into closer proximity of your feelings of fear of rejection and fears around being too much. You may feel like you are stepping out of your comfort zone or being asked to step out of your comfort zone to create better depth and meaning with something or someone. Secondarily, another key theme that could be coming up with this grand water trine is that we're receiving long-awaited nurturance and support, or even feeling like it's easier to ground into our emotional awareness. This is because Jupiter is retrograding Cancer, and when Jupiter is retrograding Cancer, it brings integration to Cancerian themes that we've been working on. So we have recently expanded our ability to receive emotional nurturance and support, and now we are grounding into it with Jupiter retrograde. This grand water trine with Jupiter being activated in Cancer retrograde could mean that some sort of spark is happening or something major is happening that brings us greater emotional support, emotional security, and emotional nurturance. During this grand water trine, we may feel like our ideals are meeting reality. This is because we have Neptune and Saturn retrograde in the sign of Pisces. Neptune is the planet of ideals and Saturn is the planet of responsibility. So it may feel like something's happening in your life, a conversation or a connection that is both idealistic and yet grounded in reality. It may feel like you're able to bring structure to your emotions, create discipline for your emotions, feel a sense of groundedness when it comes to your emotions and emotional needs, yet also convey ideals, convey this more dreamy style of love or dreamy style of expression. You may be able to simply put, feel like you're living your dreams a bit with this grand water trine. And finally, the last major theme that I want to talk about that comes up with any grand water trine is healing. Because overall, a water trine is all about our emotions. And yes, it can bring a lot up positively in our connections to others and conversations with others. But the deepest impact grand water trines bring is a sense of healing our relationship to our emotions. So whatever goes on for you during the 17th or in the days before or the days after this event could bring a great sense of emotional healing to your life. Great sense that you are allowed to own your feelings, own who you are, express your feelings better, and better regulate your emotions. And with that as well, we may feel like we are able to release pent-up emotions. So overall, as a general consensus or summary, some of the things that you can expect with this grand water trine is emotional clarity and insight, healing and release, deep, impactful connections or conversations with other people, empowered self-expression, receiving nurturance and support, spiritual and creative alignment, and integration and reflection. This overall is a time where you can feel like things are settling in and good things are coming your way. This is a very lucky aspect happening in the stars. So if you are someone who wants to align to this transit to your benefit, here are a few things I would keep in mind. First off, identify and confront the parts of yourself that you feel you're afraid of being rejected for. Ask yourself, where do I feel like I'm being too much? Where do I commonly tell myself my desires are too much, or I am too much, or I'm too deep, or I can't be vulnerable? This is exactly the area of life where you should focus on bringing just even 2% more vulnerability and connection. Black Moon Lilith and the Sun in Scorpio remind us that we crave depth for a sense of vitality and meaning in life. And so this is an opportunity, this grand water trine, to propel that desire forward. So who can you connect with on a deeper level? Who could you be more vulnerable with? And take into account the fears of rejection that you have in mind here and try to work through them. Are these fears truly valid? Secondarily, open yourself up to emotionally supporting yourself, others, and being supported. How can you be a nurturer and ask for nurturance during this time? I think for many of us, especially those who have strong Cancerian placements, are feeling called to be supported during this grand water trine. So how can you ask for the support that you need in a clear, cohesive way? And how can you mirror that and give that support in return? And additionally with that, how can you nurture yourself to come from an emotionally secure, aware place? Number 3, listen to your intuition and bring discipline to this intuition. Oftentimes, a lot of us are much more intuitive than we give ourselves credit for. So what is your gut telling you to do, think, say, not do? How can you bring more discipline to following that intuition, whether it's to set boundaries, to open up, to go to a certain place, whatever it is? Be disciplined with your intuition. Additionally, I'd recommend you ask yourself what emotions are pent up that need to be released and how can you release them? One of the biggest things I think for water energy and with this grand water trine present is practice expressing what you feel to yourself, through yourself, for the sake of letting it go. Yes, we are asking others, maybe during this time, for emotional support and connection, but it's not to dump on them, it's to release and to connect more deeply. In the end, I think a lot of negative emotion in a very spiritual setting, negative emotion is used as a tool to gain the connection we are looking for. And so I think what is invited with this grand water trine in particular is how can you release the pent up emotions first so that you can receive wholehearted connection second. And finally, the last thing I would say is journal, pause, and reflect. There are 3 planets involved retrograde with this grand water trine. So introspection, reflection, revisiting old conversations, going to old places that may feel nostalgic could all feel very comforting and impactful during this grand water trine. And don't be surprised if someone from your past or some form of past conversation comes up once again. This is for your benefit, for your healing. This whole grand water trine is here to support you and bring you the long-awaited connection that you have been wanting to receive. So let me know down in the comments below, did this video help you understand what this grand water trine is all about? Are you new to astrology? Are you wondering how you can learn more about astrology? If so, I invite you to join my free newsletter down below where I talk more about practical guidance to the stars for both beginners and advanced. This is all about practical application of astrology, and you can take it as far as you want to go. I invite you to join that newsletter down below. It's free, and you also get exclusive deals on my readings, offerings, and so much more. On that note too, I did not talk about today how this is affecting your sign, because you really do need to take your whole chart into account to understand how this grand water trine is affecting you. Do you have a lot of water energy? Did you have a parent who is a water sign? What is your relationship to water energy? What is your life experience life? What's your north node? What's your moon sign? This is all going to impact how this grand water trine and similar transits show up for you. So if you want to know how you are being impacted by the stars currently, or just understand what your chart is all about and how this can be used as a tool to live a life that you love, then I invite you to book a reading down in the description box below, where in 30 minutes or 1 hour, we can dive deep into your soul's unique energetic imprint and give you practical tools to align to your unique energetic imprint. Learn more about readings down in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I sincerely hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more videos breaking down stars and more by subscribing to the channel. Once again, my name's Isabel, and from my heart to yours, namaste.